Just need to start recording. I have a Keystone Cops level of. Okay.
There's a middle for now. I don't know. We stopped it. I'm actually working on the. Yes, they're getting used in the way of.
I believe our bell will be rung by Jen.
And Emily.
And Emily. Wonderful.
Good morning. Welcome to Theodore Parker Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Brian Cartwright, and as a rookie member of the Music and Worship Committee, I have the honor of welcoming you today. As we enter into worship, we bring with us all the sorrows and joys of our week. And we know that here we are held in loving community. Here we are reminded we are part of something larger than ourselves. Here we seek to counter oppression, to work for healing and justice in a bruised and broken world. Here we invite all of you to bring your perspectives, your beliefs and doubts, and all that is unique and wondrous about you to our service. In the spirit of love, all are welcome here. For those joining us here in person, a few things you may want to know. The congregation is mask optional, and if you would like to be seated in an area where others are also wearing masks, this section over on that side, left side of the sanctuary, is reserved for people wearing masks. You can use QR codes at either entrance to pull up order of service on your phone or take a large print copy available at either entrance. This service is being recorded today and will be available on YouTube later. If you'd like to have a joy or concern shared with the congregation today during our meditation and prayer, we invite you to fill out a card anytime before the meditation hymn on the table to the right, a table with candles. You may also light a silent candle of joy or concern at any time during the worship service. People of all ages are welcome to move about in the sanctuary as they need to, or make yourself comfortable in the little cozy area, if there's any room left, in front of the first pew. Children's programming for elementary school-age kids is happening today. And during the service, the child care provider Shannon will be available in the nursery for nursery-age children located in the parish hall. Many thanks today to the camera point person Deanna Wong and to our Zoom usher Ruth Kahn. If you are new to Theodore Parker Church or just visiting today, we would like to stay in touch. You're invited to fill out a connection card. Can someone hold up a connection card? Show us what they look like. There they are. They're in your pew racks, folded inside a yellow folder, I think. This will give you an opportunity to sign up for weekly updates by email and help us to welcome you. A link in the connection card is also, if you're on Zoom with us today, there's a link in the chat there for the connection card, as well as our info for contacting us. Those joining us here in the sanctuary are encouraged to fill in the contact card you find in the pews in the bright yellow pamphlet. To post in the chat, this will be posted in the chat, so I won't say it. So, as I say, I'm a rookie at this. Okay, we'll take a moment now to greet each other. That's easy, right? You can turn around and check out who's sitting in front of you, who's sitting behind you, and just make welcome.
Our opening words this morning are Remembrance Invocation by Lynn Cox. Welcome, you who approach this time as a journey toward the horizon, the beginning of a new chapter, seeking all of the insights and opportunities the new day offers.
Welcome, you who approach, you who live out your values with passion, who have a drive for transforming the world toward gratitude and healing, who are ignited by purpose.
Welcome, you who ride the waves of life with serenity, you who sow change in facing the depths of true emotion, you who create and change and flow with time.
We find ourselves here on the threshold of a new day. Some would say a new year, at a time when the past and the present are stirred together in the cauldron of what we shall become.
Today, we remember our beloved dead. Today, we give thanks to the people and the forces that helped us to reach this moment.
Today, we gather with the saints and the sinners and souls who have been, are being, and will be this congregation as we open up a new path to the future.
Please join us now in singing our opening hymn, number 103. The words will be up on the screen for all the saints, and please rise in body or in spirit.
Thank you. Please be seated. This morning, our chalice lighting will be offered by Jen Buchwald and Karen Kirchhoff, who are some of the members, past and present, of our Caring Ministry team. The Caring Ministry team coordinates our community's response in times in our lives when we are in need of some extra support or care, perhaps in the form of meals or rides to doctor's appointments, cards, or simply a listening ear. So members of our Caring Ministry team right now include Susan Karen, Carol Landritis, Sherrod Hamilton, Jen Buckwald, and Helen Garrettson. So I'd like to invite you both forward as Eleanor lights our chalice.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia y el servicio es nuestra oración. Esta es nuestra gran promesa, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
So good morning, everybody. We are in a time of the year when many traditions believe that the veil between the living and the dead is at its most thin. It is Samhain in the pagan tradition, Halloween, which comes from All Hallows Eve, and then All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day this coming week. It's a time of year when we are invited to remember and honor those that we have lost and to bring them close. So this morning, we are going to have an opportunity to build an altar together in remembrance of those who have died, and as we together honor the souls who make up our cloud of witnesses, those whose lives and whose love we carry with us. I know many people brought a picture of a loved one or several loved ones who have passed away. And if you brought a picture, I invite you to get that out now. And I'll invite people forward in just a few minutes to co-create this altar right here. So whether you brought a picture or not, I invite you to call to mind the person or the people who you are holding in your heart today. Picture their face, their voice. Perhaps call to mind a memory of them. Let yourself rest into that memory and that connection with those you've lost. And now, as you're moved, I invite you to say aloud or type into the chat the names of the loved ones you're holding in your heart today. Katie Tyson. Beloved, we are surrounded by these names, by a cloud of witnesses and a community of hope and love that holds us in times of tenderness and of loss. So I'd like us to invite us forward to co-create this altar. Today we have both a physical and a virtual altar. So if you brought a picture of a loved one that you would like to place on the altar, we will invite you forward. We'll form two lines on the side aisles of the sanctuary. I don't have any more hands to indicate, but these two side aisles, and then we'll come back down the center and return to pews. And if you did not bring a photo, at the front of the sanctuary on these two sides, there are two baskets with stones. So if you did not bring a photo, but you would like to contribute something to the altar in remembrance of somebody who has passed away, I invite you to choose a stone. Susan, can you hold up that basket? Thank you. I invite you to choose a stone And just hold it for a moment, remembering your loved one. And you can come forward and you can place it alongside the photos on the altar as well, as a symbol of those that we have carried with us for years or sometimes just for days. So as people come forward, the folks online will see, and people in the sanctuary as well, will see our digital altar as well. People contributed photos ahead of time, so we'll have those playing as well as people come forward. So I invite us to come forward now. This altar will be with us for the rest of the service, grounding us and holding our time together. I invite you to join me in a spirit of prayer. Spirit of eternal love, connecting us across death and time, memory and heartache, we bring to your altar of remembrance and love all of those who we have loved and lost. In times of grief, may we find comfort. In times of peace, may we find joy and gratitude. In times of absence, may we feel their presence. And in times of sacred memory, may we know love. And may we, the living, carry on with these two truths of love and death, feeling this cloud of witnesses guiding us and holding us. Amen.
Thank you all so much. I'm going to invite our kids to join me for Children's Chapel now. We'll carry on this theme, talk about how we hold death and remembrance together. All kids who want to join me, just meet me by that door, and I invite the rest of you to join us in singing them out with you for You Shall Go Out in Joy.
For you shall go out in joy, for you shall go out in joy, and come back in peace, and come back in peace. Blessed be.
As we transition into a space of meditation and prayer, I invite us to enter into this moment. Take a few nurturing breaths and sink into a time of stillness. If you are joining us on Zoom and you wish to share a joy or concern during our time of meditation and prayer, I invite you to type that into the chat now. And if you'd like to fill out one of the cards here in the sanctuary, I invite you to do that during our centering hymn. Please remain seated as we sing together our centering hymn, Comfort Me.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me. Sing with me. Sing with me, oh my soul. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me. Speak for me. Speak for me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Dance with me. Dance with me. Dance with me, oh my soul. Comfort me again. Comfort me.
Comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
This morning, we lift up several joys and sorrows of our community. We have a joy from Kathy Ware. Natalie turned 14 and started at a new school last week. From Jack joining us on Zoom, I would like to give thanks for my sister and her family. They are helping me out very much lately, and she attends this church and is at this in-person service. I joined from a bit farther afield to share your experience and give thanks. Thank you for allowing me to do so. And a prayer of sorrow from me and from so many in this community at the passing of Stan Gross on Thursday. It is so apparent how beloved Stan was by so many in this room and beyond, and it was such a joy to meet him and to get to connect with him in such a brief time that I've been here. I also have a prayer of sorrow for all of the lives lost in Lewiston, Maine, and the fear and the violence that so many live with. Let us pray together. Holy One, God whose other name is love, we carry so much in our hearts in these times. Love and loss, grief and hope, pain and joy. Today we remember all those who have come before us, those who we call ancestors now, and we remember that their lives too were filled with love and loss, grief and hope, pain and joy. We remember their strength and their struggles, and we draw upon their wisdom in our lives still. Holy One, as we take this time to remember those whom we have loved and lost, may we be filled with a holy awareness of how fragile and tender life is, and of how we might tend to it with love and with gentleness, courage and grace, meaning and connection. May it be so. And we rest together into several moments of shared silence. I'd like to invite forward Susan Karen, one of our co-chairs of our caring ministry team, who will be reading our reading this morning.
Blessing for the Brokenhearted by Jan Richardson. Let us agree for now that we will not say the breaking makes us stronger, or that it is better to have this pain than to have done without this love. Let us promise we will not tell ourselves time will heal the wound when every day our waking opens it anew. Perhaps for now, it can be enough to simply marvel at the mystery of how a heart so broken can go on beating. As if it were made for precisely this, as if it knows the only cure for love is more of it, as if it sees the heart's sole remedy for breaking is to love still, as if it trusts that its own persistent pulse is the rhythm of a blessing we cannot begin to fathom, but will save us nonetheless.
Generosity is a spiritual practice in our Unitarian Universalist congregations. We give to remind ourselves of how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with gratitude for all that we have been given, and with the faith that together we have more than enough. Links to donate will be in the chat, or you can take a moment writing out a check and sending it to the church after the service. Ushers will be coming around the sanctuary to collect an offering from those in the pews who wish to donate something more tangible. As the TPC singers share a setting by Michael of the poem you just heard, there will be an offering to sustain this congregation of memory and hope.
want to say a huge thank you to Michael for writing and arranging this beautiful piece of music. The poem that we can clap. It's not an entirely somber service. I sent Michael several readings that we could use for today, and he chose that one, and to the choir for singing it so beautifully. He chose that one to write a piece of music to. And I will say that of all of the poems that I had sent to Michael, that one was particularly meaningful to me, and it's been a great balm to me in times of grief in my life, including that we read it at my dad's memorial service in 2018. And I'd like to read it to you again, and as you hear it, I invite you to close your eyes and call to mind a time that you have been brokenhearted. Perhaps a loved one who died decades ago. Perhaps a heartbreak not through death, maybe through divorce or through the loss of a future you imagined for yourself. And perhaps you felt your heartbreak on Friday upon hearing the news of beloved TPC members Stan Gross's passing. So I invite us to hear this and breathe in this blessing, which is for all of us who need it. It's by Jan Richardson, Blessing for the Brokenhearted. Let us agree for now that we will not say that breaking makes us stronger, or that it is better to have this pain than to have done without this love. Let us promise we will not tell ourselves time will heal the wound when every day our waking opens it anew. Perhaps for now it can be enough to simply marvel at the mystery of how a heart so broken can go on beating, as if it were made for precisely this, as if it knows the cure for love is more of it, as if it sees the heart's sole remedy for breaking is to love still, as if it trusts that its own persistent pulse is the rhythm of a blessing we cannot begin to fathom, but will save us nonetheless. At the top of the written poem in the book that I have this poem in is a quote by 19th century Unitarian philosopher Henry David Thoreau. And the quote says, "There is no remedy for love but to love more." And why would we need a remedy for love? Because as author Mary Doria Russell wrote in her novel, Children of God, love is a debt. When the bill comes, you pay in grief. Because, friends, we do not grieve the things we do not love. And when we lose the things we love, we find ourselves in grief. And still, the answer is not to never love, to never risk getting our hearts broken, because, as we are reminded by Thoreau, there is no remedy for love but to love more. Friends, as you know, it has been a heavy week for this community. On Friday, I shared with the community via email that 96-year-old member Stan Gross, who has been a member here for decades, passed away peacefully surrounded by his family. And I had the opportunity to meet Stan twice, which was not enough prior to this week. But the first time I met him, I knew he was a special soul. His genuine warmth and interest and kindness just shone through. It was so apparent. And I am sad not to have been here long enough to have gotten to know him better. Yet I know so many people in this community have known Stan for years or for decades, and his loss is so keenly felt. And I know, too, that there are others in this community that we have lost, those whose names and memories have been invoked recently, those whose legacies are so present here with us today. I think in particular of Laura Dowd, a longtime member of this community, and the mom of our wonderful religious educator, Rose, and wife of Dave Galogli, who we are holding the first memorial concert for this evening.
and who this congregation remembers for her love of this community and her integral role in the music ministry of this congregation. And I think also about how in the past few weeks, it's been so clear to me that many in this congregation have also been remembering Diana Diggs, who taught so many in this community about the context of Israel and Palestine and the struggles for justice for the Palestinians. And as the news of Israel and Palestine continues to break our hearts, I can't help but imagine that so many of you who knew Diana are thinking of what she might say to us now and how she might help us to understand what's happening. And these are people whose legacies carry on, people who I sadly never got the chance to know, except through the legacies that they have left and the memories and the stories that you share about them. And I also know that others here in this room have lost people, you who have lost parents and siblings and spouses and children and beloved friends and mentors and colleagues. And though I do not know yet many of your stories, I do know that there are many here today among us and many more who are supporting people in their lives, in your lives, who are part of that club that no one wants to belong to, that club of people who have lost people to death. There is no remedy for love but to love more. I know in my own life nothing has been more true in times of grief than this particular idea. I have had some hard losses in my own life, and I think in particular about the ways that I have been sustained in times of heartbreak by the love of others. In 2018, as I mentioned, my dad died by suicide. And his death was sudden, and it was incredibly shocking, and it was devastating. And when I look back now and I think, what got us through that time? I mostly remember the love that so many poured out toward me and toward my mom and toward my sister in those early days and even now, 6 years later. It was the love that showed up in tangible ways. The people who gathered with us on that first day, the family friend who dropped off an air mattress and inflated it on the front lawn because all they could find was a car pump adapter, so my sister and I and our partners would have enough space to sleep. It was the love that showed up in meals, even though nobody wanted to eat anything. It was the love that showed up in friends who just sat with me in shock and in silence. It was the love that showed up in cards of words of care and comfort, in my dad's coworkers who I had never met, had barely ever heard about, who showed up at the wake and shared stories about how he had positively impacted them. It was in housemates who watched TV with me when there were no more tears and no more words. It was in the people who checked in on me after the memorial service was over and life had returned to normal, who knew that there was no such thing as normal ever again, who understood that sometimes there is a before and an after. It was the love that showed up to this day in my aunts and my cousins who text me every year on his birthday, in the people who remember the anniversaries of death, who continue to help hold memory and make space for grief in our lives. In times of grief and heartbreak, I have been held and healed by the love of others. There is no remedy for love but to love more. And I will be honest, I'm not exactly sure that remedy or cure are the right words. Because those of us who have lost people, which is most of us, death is such a universal human experience, yet so particular and personal. But those of us who have lost people know that many losses never really leave us, that there is no getting over it. Yet I also know that there can be healing and there can be growth, and that we carry the losses with us, that grief may transform over time, might be less overwhelming, might not hurt in the same raw way. As we think about and remember the people we've lost. But the heartbreak is never really cured, as Jan Richardson said. Our hearts, so broken, just go on beating as if they were made for precisely this, as if they know that the only cure for love is more of it. Sometimes we are just loved through heartbreak by a love that is stronger than death. This All Souls Day, I am thinking about how we all need that love that heals us and holds us in times of heartbreak, and how we can embody that love for others, how we come into community to hold our heartbreak alongside our joy, how I have seen already this community show up for each other in love that is made tangible, in casseroles and cards and air mattresses and texts and long walks. And we just hold the mystery together, the mystery that hearts that have been broken can go on beating, and the truth that the only remedy for love is more of it. May it be so, and amen. We will close with our closing hymn, Let the Life I Lead. Michael is going to teach us, right? And I invite us to rise in body or spirit. The lyrics will be on, it's not in the hymnals, and the lyrics will be on the slide right here.
All right, so the choir has already learned this a little bit, so the choir and I will sing verse one time through, just so you get it, and then you can join us. Let the life I lead,
Please rise.
speak for me. Let the life I lead, speak for me. When I'm lying in my grave and there's nothing more to say, let the life I lead, speak for me. Okay, let's do verse one again. Let the life I lead speak for me. Let the life I lead speak for me. When I'm lying in my grave and there's nothing more to say, let the life I lead speak for me. Let the friends I have speak for me. Let the friends I have speak for me.
When I'm lying in my grave,
When I'm lying in my grave
and there's nothing more to say,
nothing more to say, let the friends I have speak for me. Let the work I do speak for me. Let the work I do speak for me. When I'm lying in my grave and there's nothing more to say, let the work I do speak for me.
let the songs I sing,
Love I share.
Love I share.
Love I share speak for me. Let the love I share speak for me. When I'm lying in my grave and there's nothing more to say, let the love I share speak for me. Let the songs I sing, let the songs I sing speak for me. Let the songs I sing speak for me. When I'm lying in my grave and there's nothing more to say, let the songs I sing speak for me. Let's do the first verse again. Let the life I lead speak for me. Let the life I lead
Please be seated. A few announcements and invitations as we close our worship service. First of all, please, friends, please remember to take home your pictures and grab them from the altar on your way out. I will be right over here saying hello if you'd like to stop by and say hello. And please join us for coffee hour next door if you're in person, and on our breakout room if you are on Zoom. Stick around and say hello to one another. After church today, there will be a short meeting in the parlor to learn about this year's winter fair. If you would like to learn more about the fundraiser, perhaps volunteer, come find out what is being planned and the ways that you can help. It'll start right at noon, and the organizers promise to keep it short. So for newcomers, this is a great way to meet more people and to get connected to others, and it's a short-term volunteer opportunity. You can talk to Carol Allen, Jennifer Buchwald, or Jennifer Bottomley, and join us at noon. Tonight, the Laura Dowd Memorial Concert is happening here in the sanctuary. It's at 7 p.m. and it is free. The Hot Water Quartet will be playing, and I think it will be a lovely tribute to Laura's life and legacy. I invite you to save the date for November 12th from 12 to 1:30. Rose and I will be leading a workshop after church about transgender and gender identity issues. If you have questions, if you are curious to learn more about why we might say pronouns or have pronouns on name tags, what it means to be an inclusive and welcoming community for transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming folks, this workshop will have some information, an opportunity for questions, and an opportunity to connect with other people who are maybe asking the same questions that you are. So we invite you to join us after church, November 12th, 12 to 1:30. And finally, we are on the hunt for some more Zoom ushers. Ruth is one of our wonderful Zoom ushers. The job, I hear, is very straightforward and learnable, but we only have a couple of people who are doing it right now. Talk to Tom. Tom, can you wave your hand if you're interested in helping out with this? So if you want to hang out and let people into the Zoom room and paste things into the chat, we would be so grateful. So talk to Tom if you are willing to do that. And I invite us to close with these words. Beloved, as we go forth, we carry the lives and the legacy of those we have loved and lost. May we remember that our broken hearts go on beating, and that the only remedy for love is more of it. May we be open to receiving that love, and may we offer that love to others as it is needed. May it be so, and amen.